The journey to understanding my mom has been as much about understanding myself as it has been about her. Sometimes I wonder if she sees me as I truly am, or if I've just been the reflection of her expectations. I've realized that holding on to resentment only chains me to the past, and I want to break free from that. Opening up about this isn't easy, but I believe it's necessary for my own healing. My mom's love is the foundation of who I am, but even foundations can have cracks, and it's okay to acknowledge them. I don't want to hide behind the facade of a perfect relationship anymore. It's time to be real about my feelings. This isn't about seeking sympathy. It's about finding the courage to speak my truth and embrace my vulnerability. Our relationship has been a roller coaster of emotions, and today I want to share what that ride has been like. Even in our struggles, there's a deep love that binds us, and I want to honor that while also being honest. I've learned that loving someone doesn't mean avoiding difficult conversations. It means facing them head on. I've always feared that opening up about my feelings might make me seem ungrateful, but I realize now that honesty is a gift. Talking about my relationship with my mom isn't easy, but I believe it's the first step to healing. I want to share the parts of our story that aren't perfect, because those are the parts that have shaped me the most. It's hard to admit that someone you love has hurt you, but it's even harder to keep it all inside. I've been on a journey of self-discovery, and part of that journey involves being honest about my relationship with my mom. Her love was never in question, but her understanding of me has always been complicated. I've spent so much time trying to be the child she wanted, and now I'm ready to be the person I need to be. This isn't about dwelling on the past. It's about finding closure and peace for the future. I know she did what she thought was best, but sometimes her best didn't feel like enough for me. I want to honor my mom for all she's done, while also being honest about the ways our relationship has challenged me. There are days when I wonder if she knows the depth of my pain, and other days when I wish I could just understand her better. The most difficult part about sharing my story is knowing that my truth might be too painful for her to hear, but I need to speak it anyway. There's a quiet ache in loving someone who doesn't fully see you, and yet I find myself endlessly seeking her approval. Sometimes I wonder if she's ever fully understood who I am, or if she's always seen me as the child she wanted me to be. I've spent so much of my life trying to repair what's broken between us, but now I see that healing starts with me, not just us. I've learned that love can be messy, and sometimes the messiest parts are the most important to address. There are moments when I feel like I'm failing as a daughter, but in reality, it's just that our expectations of each other are so different. I wish I could turn back time and undo the moments of silence and hurt. But all I can do now is share what's inside my heart. The hardest part is realizing that no matter how much I want to, I can't fix the past, but I can start fresh with the truth. I've spent so many years trying to make sense of her actions, but maybe the real lesson is accepting that some things don't need to make sense. I used to think that the pain between us was something I would ignore, but it keeps resurfacing because it's a part of who I am. Every time I try to explain my feelings, it feels like she's not listening, but I'm beginning to understand that maybe I'm the one who hasn't been listening to myself. The more I've tried to understand her, the more I've realized I need to understand myself first. The love between us has always been there, but sometimes it feels like it's buried beneath so many unspoken words. There's a painful truth in realizing that sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who hurt you most, yet you still love them anyway. I've always wanted to be seen by her, but I'm starting to see that I need to start seeing myself first. The story of my relationship with my mom is one of both love and conflict, and I think it's time to speak up about the parts that have hurt. I often find myself caught between two worlds, the love I feel for her and the hurt I carry from her actions. I know that as a mother, she has her own struggles and flaws, but it doesn't make the pain of her words any easier to bear. There's a part of me that still wants to be her perfect child, but there's another part of me that just wants to be free to be myself. I've spent so much of my life trying to protect her from my feelings, but now I see that I need to protect myself first. Sometimes the heaviest burden isn't the expectations placed on us, but the silence we carry from years of unspoken pain. I need to tell you about my journey with my mother, because it's time I find my voice. The bond between a mother and child is meant to be unbreakable, yet here I am, piecing together fragments of love, pain, and misunderstandings. I've always wanted to be the perfect child in her eyes, but lately I've realized I need to be honest about how her choices have shaped me. There's a quiet heartbreak in loving someone who doesn't understand you, and for me, that someone has always been my mother. Love and resentment are strange companions, and when they coexist in a relationship as sacred as the one with your mother, it creates a storm of emotions. For years, I've hidden my pain behind a smile, convincing myself that our issues weren't important. But now I need to talk about it. They say mothers know best, but what happens when their best intentions leave scars we're too afraid to show? I've carried this weight alone for too long, and today I want to talk about the complicated relationship I have with my mom. Growing up, I thought my mother's love was enough to solve everything. Now I'm learning love isn't always simple or easy to understand. I'm not here to blame or accuse, but to share my truth about the person who gave me life and the challenges that came with it. It's hard to reconcile the love I feel for her with the pain she's caused me, but that's the complexity of family. No one warns you that the people who are supposed to protect you might also be the ones who hurt you the most. This isn't about pointing fingers. It's about finding peace within myself and the memories I share with my mother. I need to talk about the things that were said, and more importantly, the things that weren't, between me and my mom. The hardest thing I've ever had to do is accept that my mom and I might never truly understand each other. Her love was always there, but it wasn't always the kind of love I needed. And that's something I'm still learning to accept. How do you heal when the person you're hurt by is also the person you love the most? That's the question I've been grappling with. I've spent my life trying to be the child she could be proud of, but now I just want to be the person I'm proud of. There's a guilt that comes with admitting your mother has hurt you, as though love and pain can't exist in the same space, but they do. The story of me and my mom isn't black and white. It's filled with shades of gray, and today I want to explore those colors. I've been holding onto this pain for so long, but maybe by sharing it, I can finally start to heal. It's not easy to talk about the ways I've felt let down by my mother, but I believe honesty is the first step to understanding. For so long, I've put her feelings above my own. But today, I need to honor my emotions and share my story. I know she did her best, but sometimes her best didn't feel like enough, and that's a truth I need to come to terms with. I want to share my story, not to shame her, but to release myself from the silence that has held me back. My mom is my hero, but even heroes have flaws, and I think it's okay to talk about them. I've realized that it's possible to love someone deeply and still have unresolved issues with them, and that's where I am with my mom. Our relationship has always been a mix of love and tension, and I'm finally ready to unpack what that means for me. The hardest part of this journey is realizing that she may never see things the way I do, and learning to be okay with that. I've been afraid to open up about my feelings, fearing it might hurt her. But I've learned that suppressing my truth hurts me even more. I'm not here to blame or fix anything. I just want to share my story and find a way to move forward. There's a part of me that still craves her approval, even as I work to stand firm in my own truth. I've always wondered if my mom knows how deeply her words have affected me. Today, I'm ready to explore that. Healing doesn't mean forgetting the pain, and love doesn't mean ignoring the hurt. It's time to talk about both. I've been carrying this invisible weight for years, and it's time to let it out and let it go. There's a bittersweet truth in realizing that our parents are just as imperfect as we are. I want to believe that our bond is stronger than our issues, but sometimes it's hard to see past the hurt. I'm learning to accept that my mom's love came with limitations, and that doesn't make her love any less real. The silence between us has been deafening, and today I want to break it by sharing my feelings. It's not about blaming her or excusing myself. It's about finding a space where we can both be human.